I'm so tired of this podcast. I really hate it.
Oh, man. It's like, I don't know. What is it, like a marriage?
Yeah, I mean, fair, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So, we have a special guest. Yeah, Jermaine's actually here.
I want to say, you ain't tell me about a guest.
Nah, surprise. I don't tell you nothing about this thing. Yeah, so he's actually here. And,
Good times, old times.
yeah. And
It's back in the day, and it's only been 2 months, but it's considered back in the day.
yeah, so be prepared for the quality to go way downhill. Yeah, so, this is kind of like our rebranding show.
Okay.
So we have, if you didn't see on Wednesday, we didn't have a show.
Yeah.
We made an executive decision, and we didn't tell anybody because we're bad people. I did put it on Twitter, so that is on you for not following me. So that's more of a you problem than me. So sorry,
it's on you.
we told y'all. But we decided, look, it makes more sense to dedicate all of our time and energy to this one singular. I mean, we're still doing the football one.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing the one with the wife. But collectively, just from a timing standpoint and just kind of how we do our show, it makes more sense to do one collaborative kind of show. And instead of the typical hour, it's going to be an hour and a half. So the premise is going to be we're taking the BDE Street and infusing it into the X's and O's, and we're going to kind of have a little mishmash marriage thing. So,
because, I mean, that's how we started. X's and O's was, the beginning. I mean, we had like 2 or 3 of these before we even began the BDE. But it takes a lot of passion, a lot of energy that goes into these shows. Y'all think that, we just hit the record button and boom, we're here. I mean, it takes some time. I mean, we and plus we have some awesome topics that get real, like, passionate about.
Right.
So it's sort of like, how they say you can't get a fat guy going in one direction and stop him. That's kind of how it is. It's like with the momentum, like on football. You always hear an announcer, whenever they jump off sides and they're like, it's hard to get that big guy going and, hey, make him stop.
Okay, all right. Because I'm like
he gave this look like, as soon as I see the big guy going, he gave this look like he was, I mean, like I asked him what's the algorithm of some type of Chinese equation or so.
Well, so I didn't go to the football spear in my head. I'm like, what do you? That's not a saying they say.
They do. They always say it's hard to get a big guy like that going and have him stop.
It's like, they can't. You can't spell an orange without glass. What? Yeah, I got you. The big reason was we felt that, I don't know, it started feeling a little bit like work to do it 2 days a week. It kind of felt we just did this a few days ago.
Yeah. That was the main thought that kind of hit me this week. When Wednesday came, I don't know.
It's funny because you were like,
I think it's because the 4th was right there at Tuesday, and our last episode was pretty much
Sunday.
About the 4th. It was about a picnic, so it felt like it was the very next day. It was like, didn't we just record? Like,
we were going to delay it till Thursday because you're like, I felt like we just did this, and then I'm like, well, realize Saturday's 2 days away from Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going to be doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, here's kind of the rules here, kids. You know how we did the whole family-friendly thing?
We ain't got no kids.
So we kind of went off the rails on this show a while back on that, and it didn't really get like super hardcore, but I mean, there was a curse here and there, and then when we got into why do we cuss in the first place, that one
we just ripped the seal. I mean, we took the Band-Aid off, and,
we did.
and the scab just bled, and then
and
now it's like, why are
there's no kids listening?
I know.
There's barely fucking adults listening.
That's what we came to. Like, what are we trying to be PG-13?
Who's listening to this in the car with their kids? Be a better parent.
We don't have no 13-year-olds even listening. So what are we doing here?
My kid may say fuck more than me.
Yeah, I mean, man, I'm just living in different neighborhoods.
I do it way more.
Living in different neighborhoods, kids, it's like they're younger and younger. Yeah. I've seen kids out there. I mean,
motherfucker.
Yeah, like I mean, it starts at like 6 or 7. Yeah. They're out there fucking each other.
Oh no,
it didn't even sound. That didn't sound right. No, I mean, but they're out there MFing each other and recording, and they're saying, "I'm like, dang, is these kids out here talking like
they are.
Like I'm walking past and they making me feel dirty." I'm like, oh man, they got a Andrew Dice Clay show going on over there.
He's like, watch your mouth. There are adults around. Oh God, I love it.
There's adults around.
Oh, I love it.
These kids was going at each other's throat, and I'm looking at them like, do you even like? Didn't you just come out of diapers? I mean, it's like, wow, yeah. Today's kid is curse words is part of the norm.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the taboo part of it's kind of
plays a part.
I mean, look, you want to hear a non-taboo thing? The last interview I did. Okay. It was oh my God, I believe his name was Brandon. It was Brandon. Oh my God, I had 2 interviews that day, so excuse me.
Yeah.
He is he's a spiritual kind of mentor, kind of advisor. I don't know the best way to put it. This guy puts such a humane, like a human aspect of the religion thing. It's not. He even made the joke when he let in. He's like, yeah, so when people see that I'm spiritual, they think I have like a robe and I'm trying to like smell like patchouli and all the other like. And he's like, no, man, fuck that. I'm like, oh,
dang, he just came out with an F-bomb.
Excuse me. And it kind of was that weird thing. Cause I made the analogy. It's kind of like, dude, you're like you're like going to church with like the explicit content sticker on the CD. And he's like, well, look, man, you don't have to. There's no like rule against that. Like you can have your own journey. But anyway, the whole point was, I think the whole dirty word thing, because we even covered that on the profane thing. It's like, who made that up, man? Like, why is this?
Why is fuck different from rock? Like you said, like what?
It just seems like a weird thing. But anyway, look, I'm going off the rails here.
Okay.
So, wouldn't it be funny if we weren't even recording? I'd look down real quick. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah. By the way, this is Jermaine. I forgot we didn't even say.
Oh yeah, this is Rich. Sorry, we're bad. The funny thing is, before we even got on here, I was like, hey, we should maybe just start doing like an intro thing. And you know what we didn't do? An intro. Like a normal, regular intro for someone that's never even listened. They're like, who are these clown shoes talking to? I don't even know who they are.
We went from a designed, planned out intro to no intro.
Just saying, fuck it, figure it out. You will get there eventually. But yeah, the whole
the spiritual. What was he saying now?
I'm not going to tell you. Go listen to the episode.
Oh,
all I'm saying is this man put a humane spin on spirituality, and it is not cringy. It's not uncomfortable, because I know religion, it has like a weird stigma to it. This guy is he's one of the real cool people I've actually spoken with.
So you making it seem like, I mean, I know you don't watch movies, but people out here that have seen Vampire in Brooklyn, there was that one preacher. There was the one preacher that he was clearly the vampire, but he was, he could shapeshift into the preacher.
Okay.
And he was outside, and he was like, evil is good, ass is good, and if you get yourself a piece of evil ass, woo! Like, so you making it seem like he was a preacher that was like a down to earth preacher that wasn't like
a preacher that would take you to a bar.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that type.
And I'm just like, oh wow, like. Because I'm not a religious person. I'm not a spiritual person. But this, I don't know, man. This guy was. I can't really explain it. And I know we do kind of the shameless plugs and whatever. And yeah, sometimes it's a little phoned in and kind of just shoehorned in there. Listen, do yourself a favor. I don't care if you're religious, if you're not religious. Go listen to this interview. It's the last thing we recorded. So
that's what I was about to say. It's just called
I think I named it Smoking Spiritual Dope.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, because that's actually his podcast. His podcast name is Spiritual Dope.
Oh, for
and
real?
He tells you, and he actually tells you where he got that from. Because I commented, I was like, man, I dig your title, man. It's eye catching. Where'd you come up with this? And he told me the story. I was like, oh, huh,
okay.
So,
but I mean, just going back to the whole who made up curse words.
Yeah.
Same thing with religion. Like, who said you can't go to the bar? Like, who said you can't do this and do that and still have salvation?
Some
because
old men that thought that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really a religious person, but it resonated with me. I know you're more religious than I am, so
yeah. I mean, but it's as I get older, I just knock down a lot of myths, or that show Mythbusters, where it's like something that you thought was taboo or something that you lived your whole life thinking was supposed to go this way, and then it turned out that that's not really the case. It's the same thing. I mean, like who said you can't go to a bar? Who said you can't do this and still? Because to me, religion or salvation is the relationship you have with your higher power, whether that be Allah or whether that be God or Buddhists, whatever they who they worship or something like that.
It's like that 8-armed thingy.
Yeah, something. I don't know what it's exactly called, but it's still a personal relationship that you have with your higher being. Fuck with the men around you that place rules in place that tells you you're not. So someone's going to tell you that because you cursed or because you cheated or because you did this, you have severed your tie with the salvation you have between you and your God. Like, who are you to tell me that? And to me, church is only a place where birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
So people only go to church because they have a same feeling for their salvation that the next man does, and they come together and they celebrate their commonality, so to speak. But you don't have to walk into a church. You don't have to go to church every Sunday in order to have some type of salvation or religion.
With that, though, and one thing that's always bothered me being like a Catholic, right? Or, well, was a Catholic, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
You would see the people that would, because I used to have to, and a lot of this goes into what we actually talked about on the episode, but you would see the people that would just show up for Easter and Christmas.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't belittle them for going there, but it's also those are the people that seem to be like, oh, well, you shouldn't. Shut the fuck up.
But then you got the people that party Monday through Saturday and then be faithful in service on Sunday, like they are this great corporate citizen, not corporate, but citizen of the community. They're a community champion, so to speak. And it's like, man, I just seen you out here, about to shoot somebody last night, but this morning it's a wonderful day, brother. I mean, thank the Lord. And I'm like, you hypocrite? Like, really?
Right. But then you also, I mean, literally you're a hypocrite by even saying that.
Because it's a hypocrite, because who makes the standards? Yeah.
Right.
I just contradicted myself just right there.
So it's a weird thing. But anyway, like I said, I tell you my little spiritual journey and why I kind of went off the rails on the podcast too. So if you're curious about it,
tune in.
Not even just for my story. I mean, it's whatever, but give this dude some love because he definitely deserves some ears on him. So anyway, to kind of get to the brass tacks here, so the new format of X's and O's, it's going to be an hour and a half. We're going to spend, either an hour on a topic or a half on two, and then we have the draft at the end. So you're not losing the draft. You're still going to get that hard-hitting stuff from BDE, and you're still going to get kind of some ins and outs, popcorn thing, as Jermaine has put it, for X's and O's. So I
got that from Mike Tomlin, by the way.
Hey, listen.
Popcorn.
Shout out to Tomlin. Master wordsmith, man.
He is.
So, yeah, I just figured it makes more sense to do one thing. Focus all of our energy on this. Make it the best fucking thing that we can. Because, we deserve it, and the people that spend their time out listening to it deserve it. Because in all sincerity, you can say, I'm not going to click listen. I'm just not going to do it. I don't do that. But there are people that are clicking this and listening to it. And it actually means a lot.
Well, I mean, as we discussed, via text, it was just like, what do we want? We want quality or we want quantity?
Yeah.
So what would you rather hear? Would you rather hear 2 shows that's kind of split up? Or would you want to hear one power banging show?
Well, we can prepare for it too. Like, it's easier to prepare for the week when you're doing the one show. Now, obviously, look, we're about to be real heavy. I mean, I'm doing my interviews. I get that. I don't really have to prepare too much for that. That's kind of just shooting from the hip.
Yeah, because you have no idea what's going to happen in those.
Right. I mean,
it's better that way because
you're
reacting.
Right, exactly. And Tiffany, she basically is kind of producing the other show for me and her. That's the Pillow Talk one. Check it out. It's fun. That's a shameless plug right there. And, we're going to be doing our football stuff. And when we get in football mode, like, the grind is real. So there's there's preparing that's going to be, but be prepared for some
football
potentially long shows on accident. So that's going to be coming up here soon. That's going to be twice a week. But we figured this is our baby, right? And we want to treat it as such. We want to treat it with the respect it deserves. We want to give it the treatment, the full week treatment. So it just seems like it's a better idea. So that's what we're going to go with. So the topic, and I, this is going to be a one topic show because we did spend about 20 minutes kind of just going over stuff, but it needed to be gone over so people know what's up. So they're like, oh, is the other show gone? Technically. And so everybody knows, anyone that was trying to get, caught up on the BDE, it's all under the X's and O's library now. So all those are there.
So those episodes didn't disappear. Yeah. I mean, they're there.
Yeah.
It's just, they're all under one umbrella.
Yeah. So nothing really changed. So we're going to kind of go over this topic, and we kind of touched on it a little bit. We touched on it more on the kind of post-game show, which is literally the name of the post-game. That's on the Patreon. Also, don't forget, people, there's still that free trial out there for it. So it's free content sitting there. Obviously, if you like what you do or you like what we're doing, stay sub to it. You're going to get what? About almost 2 hours a month, hour and a half, 2 hours a month for $5 a month. We're not asking much. Yeah. There's different tiers on there, obviously, and different higher tiers get you more stuff. So I don't know. Check it out. It's free right now. Do yourself a favor. Yep. But we talked about homelessness last episode a little bit, and whether it was a mindset or what really would.
Did someone burn all their bridges? Really, really burned all their bridges, and speaking of, just to recap that homeless thing. Just this week, riding the bus, man, I seen even more. Yeah. Because I ride through the South Side pretty much every day.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a whole group of them. It was like 4 dudes in this one corridor of this business, and they're all laying there asleep on the ground. It's like, and they're like younger dudes, and it's like.
Yeah. Like, how did you get there? Actually, we're going to get into why they probably got in there.
Yeah.
So, we touched on it a little bit more so on the post-game thing, so if you want the preface to it, check that out. Drugs, man. Drugs are... They call, like, weed a gateway drug, whatever. That's kind of the thing.
But, and when we say drugs... We're not talking about weed, like, because it's like, and alcohol has two sides.
That's its own thing. We're not even.
Alcohol has 2 sides. It's one of those things where alcohol.
You get alcohol in church.
Alcohol could be a social thing,
right?
But when it's abused, then it can almost
like you can't do a line of coke at the office party.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
but at the office, the office does all go out for drinks, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
they don't go out to do some meth.
No,
hey,
so
Bob,
but when alcohol gets abused, it can become just as bad or even worse than some of these harsh drugs.
Yeah, because it's legal. It's legal and it's socially acceptable.
You can get as much as you can. Right, and, yeah, but we're talking about the harsh drugs that are prescriptioned, or they're called controlled substances or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
The thing that I've always heard about these harsh drugs, because the way I asked was, when we talked about what point do you get to the homelessness, what series of tragic events happen in your life for you to get homeless? Mm-hmm. My same question applies to what series of tragic events caused you to pick up this harsh drug. Now, some people have recreationally just tried this harsh drug and then they took it to their level of abuse. Like, I mean, there have been parties I've been at where I've been offered lines of coke. I never did it because I just said, that ain't me, but it's easily and readily accessible.
Plus, you got some big ass nostrils. That's just greedy. You're gonna take the whole
they gonna beat me up. They're gonna be like, man, you snorted the whole thing. I do got a big nose. I always had a big nose. But I just as I said,
here's the thing. You just don't jump in. You're like, I'm gonna try a drug. What are you gonna do? Angel dust. What?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you start small.
Yeah.
Right? And then
it progresses.
Right, and it depends on who you are. And I think a lot of people, it sparks off with the whole peer pressure thing. Like, you're trying to either fit in, you're a teenager, you're just doing your whole little, I never did anything. Right? Yeah. I smoked some weed, but it actually makes me sick.
I think the most exotic drug I've ever done was mushrooms. I've done those in college, yeah.
I think you said that on the podcast.
Yeah, I did it twice in college, and whew, that's a trip. I mean, it takes about 8 hours, and you could drink like a fish. And but you got to be around the people that did the same thing, because you can't be in public, because you do hallucinate. I mean, you do, like, you could look at a statue, like right here. You have this figurine on the table.
Yeah.
If we were on mushrooms right now, that guy, he would be moving his arms. And you would be seeing him moving his arms.
Oh, sounds
crazy. It seems like everything comes alive. It's like even the tree, like, of course the trees and stuff, they are alive, biologically alive, but they don't move. They're inanimate. They don't move. But when you're on that mushroom trip, and I'm pretty sure it's similar to the LSD or whatever whatever
acid
and all that. Yeah. I assume it does the same thing, but the trees and everything seems like it's alive, it's breathing. It's a crazy experience. But that's the harshest I've ever went. But at the same time, another thing that I hear about these harsh drugs is it's called chasing the Alibaba. So from what I understand about a lot of these harsh drugs is the very first time you get high,
you'll never get that high again.
That high, I guess, is so great that you spend however much time you are chasing the Alibaba or chasing that first high. Alcohol?
The first time you've ever done it. I mean, think about the first time you came. I mean, that's dirty.
Every time I fuck, I ain't trying to recreate that first time I came.
No, but you remember, like, you're like, this is a fun tickle.
But the same, I mean, like alcohol. I can't even tell you the first time I got drunk. I don't remember that vividly. It's different every time. So it's not like, so that's not one of those harsh drugs. Same thing with weed. I can't remember the first time I smoked weed. I'm not chasing that first high. But from what I understand, when it comes down to cocaine or smoking crack, you're looking for that first high. Same thing with heroin. Same thing, I guess, with meth. Like, you're always chasing this high that you're never going to get.
Right. And the bitch of it is, people know that.
And they
still go after. That's how they OD. Because they're like, okay, I logically know this, but I'm also doing meth. So my logic's a bit skewed. So, you're doing it, and then you're like, I'm going to do some more because that will get me over the hump. And now, when I'm saying this as I have knowledge,
as an observer, like, you don't have any experience, but this is the stories that I've been told. I mean, I ain't gonna say I sat down and interviewed, but I have sat down real life crackheads and asked them, like, I mean, they hey, how's it going? You know, they try to butter you up because they want some money from you. So they say, how's your mama doing? How's your brothers doing? How's everybody doing? Can you loan me $5? You know it's going to, the conversation is going to end with them asking you something.
Fucking Ezel.
So,
that's our token Ezel comment for the podcast.
So it's been plenty of crackhead came up to me and used that same butter your bread topic, or butter your bread tactic. And before I would give them the money, one of them, I was like, hey, man, can I ask you a personal question without you getting offended or upset? And he said, go ahead. And I was just like, what, why are you like, what is this? Like, is this powerful? Like, you really are taking VCRs and taking shit out your mom's and your relative's house and selling it? Like, what is so great about it? And then he said, man, the very first time is the best time. And you're always thinking you're going to somehow find that first time. Chasing the Alibaba. And I'm like, wow. And like you said, they know it. And they're still doing it. And a totally different subject or a totally different topic, but I think it's the same kind of pattern, is gambling. If you win big on gambling, you are constantly.
You're not a gambling man, though.
No, I don't. I've never won big. Put it this way: I've never got the high from gambling. Like
it doesn't have to be big, man.
I'm a gambler, big, substantial. Like if you want a big, large amount, you're always taking a risk to win that large amount again.
It's the inverse, man. It's the inverse. So
what?
It's the inverse. So at least maybe it is for me. So I don't really bet big.
Yeah.
But if I bet and I lose, I'm like, all right.
But you're talking about betting on these platforms on your phone. I'm talking about, like, have you gambled, went down to the casino with the cards and all of that crap?
No, but it's the same concept, though.
True.
Because, that whole double or nothing thing, where do you think it came from?
Yeah.
Okay, so I bet 5, and I lost my 5. All right, now, if I look at this, longer shots, that this thing that's 2-1, that, obviously, if you know anything about gambling, it's double your investment, but obviously you're placing your bet on the dog. So the chances of you winning are lower. You're like, all right, well, if I do this on this dog, if I put this other 5 on this dog, I'll get 10 back, so I'll break even. Okay. So what happens if you lose that?
You went down double.
Now you're like, okay, so all right, what if I because it's a cyclical thing, and I don't fall victim to that, but I have in the past. And
so you have a cutoff button. You
realize
you have the rationale to cut yourself off,
right?
And a lot of gamblers don't,
right? And that's why people end up indebted to the mob, and they lose their mortgage, they lose their marriage, they lose.
I've even seen those commercials where you got some guy, he's rummaging through his car and he's looking for change in the back seat. Like, man, that's gotta be.
Yeah,
that's an addiction, just like a drug.
Yeah, look, have we done addiction yet?
No, I guess this would be we would be popping the top and opening up the bottle, the Corona little label to addiction.
Interesting.
So we just said drugs. It's addiction.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a story here. All right. And I touched on this on the post game, but I was born addicted to heroin. And anyone that knows anything about, life, babies shouldn't be addicted to drugs. Not a good thing.
Not.
So, obviously, I couldn't do heroin when I was a little kid, so I had to go through withdrawals. So, you think of a few-day-old baby.
You're already, it's a challenge for you to even be here as a normal baby, let alone some outside circumstance on top of that.
Right. Now, technically, I have an addictive personality, but everything else, like there are noises that bother me, but there is something that the wife knows the word for, and I probably should have researched that, and that's my bad. But certain noises that I'm not prepared to hear bother me a lot. Like Jermaine can attest to this. I get very angry.
And go to like 0 to
yeah.
like 100 in like a couple seconds. And it's
yeah.
like, wow, you're seeing red that fast. You don't even see a little orange.
Like, right. And I'm generally pretty, chill, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, born addicted to heroin. For all intents and purposes, other than those two little things, I'm relatively normal, I would say. I would say I'm probably more intelligent than I probably should have been based on my, initial upbringing, I guess. My initial entrance into the world.
Did your intelligence come from secondary education?
Hell no.
Okay. Go back and see the episode of the uselessness of secondary education.
Yay. Yeah. I really should have came out with... I should have been pretty fucked up, honestly. That's the best way to put it. Those...
if anybody has an excuse or anyone that could say they have an excuse, it should be you. You should be able to use the excuse whenever someone says, why are you on heroin? And you could say, hey, I was. I came out like that. But you're not.
I've never touched a hard drug ever. I've had zero desire. And it's not because, I saw what happened. No, I didn't see what happened.
You don't even touch the gateways or nothing.
Right. Nothing. Well, yeah, weed just makes you sick. It's fucking weird. I don't know. It's just not a fan of it. Yeah. I like being in control. Like, even when I drink, I don't get drunk. I get, I'll get buzzed, but I don't like being out of my element. Even when we
was out on your bachelor party, I don't recall you being, like, sloppy, smashed drunk or anything. Nope. If anything, I was drunker than you on your own bachelor party.
and I think a part of me is I like to be in control of myself, and I like to be able to wrangle folks if they need to be wrangled and make sure that my people that I'm around are safe and taken care of.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, look, at this point, I'm too fucking old for all that noise. Like, I don't want to wake up and feel like garbage for the next two, because it's not just, I'll feel bad till noon. Dude, I'm 36 or 7. I don't even know anymore. And
well, we already talked about it's way harder to recuperate.
It's a hang around. Fuck a hangover. It's a hang around.
Hang around.
You have to take PTO for that. Like, no, we're not playing that game. But to kind of get back to the initial thing, it really does come, and this is why I love doing this show, because this is something that's completely not scripted. Not that any of it's scripted, but when you're saying that you interviewed, you're not interviewed, but you talked to a few crackheads. It was like a pseudo interview.
Yeah.
I have a platform where I get to interview people a lot.
Yeah.
What I actually might do is I might try to search on that little pod match thing that I have going on and seek out, some recovering addicts. Because Brandon, he was an old school alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he kind of had his literal and figurative come to Jesus moment. So yeah, I might try to find out somebody that I can talk to, so I can, and if they're okay with it, obviously, kind of really get into them, and I'll try to go for the heroin one just because the personal connection there, and ask them, hey, why?
Yeah, tell me our initial question.
Words, why?
We talked about pretty much what happens, why they continue to do it, but my initial question was, what is the first pickup moment? Like I said, outside of recreation. Now, there's definitely, you're at a party, like you said, the peer pressure, you just doing it, and then you happen to get addicted that way. I'm talking about someone that's, like, they know all about it, they know what it does, like.
Could it be as stupid as curiosity?
As an example, crack was a huge epidemic in the 80s, 90s, even all the way up to the kind of the 2000s. So I'm in high school, and I graduated 1996. I'm old. Some of you, wasn't born until then. But we knew just by watching, growing up in Aliquippa, just by watching the crackheads or the people that were strung out on these drugs, you knew what it did. Like, you knew these people couldn't be trusted anywhere. They would steal from anyone. They would, come up to you with a broken Walkman and try to sell it to you. You've seen what this drug did. And there are several crackheads today that were in my graduating class. So we knew the ramifications. We knew what it did to you. And you still picked it up? Did you think you was not going to get it? This ridiculously addictive drug, did you think you was going to pick it up, have a hit or two, and put it down? Like, you knew when you picked it up what you were getting into. You knew the contract you signed.
Is it any worse than cigarettes, though? I mean, you think about how you just described that, right?
Okay.
You know, you knew...
But cigarettes, you're not going to sit here and burn every bridge you got and still shit out your loved one's house for some cigarettes.
No, but it's still killing you.
Almost anything you do is killing you.
Yeah.
Even eating is killing you.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen to the pillow talk about Lizzo.
Even eating is killing you. So everything is killing you. I'm saying,
like, from a narcotic standpoint, right? You know,
I mean, there's plenty of people that die from
nicotine,
lung cancer every year. Yeah,
nicotine is a drug,
but it's a long, gradual. I mean, like,
yeah. Now, I'm not. Look,
heroin.
Yeah, you're not lasting. There's
crack.
Yeah,
crystal meth. The lifespan in those games don't last too long.
But you take away the extreme part of it. Take away the levels of the drugs. At the end of the day, you're still partaking in something that you know that is not good for you, but it's going to make you feel good.
Okay.
So, is that like a stupid lizard brain part of us?
Sort of like...
That's like, ooh, it's naughty, I'm going to do it. Or could it just be curiosity? Could it be the peer pressure? Or is it
a freakish event? Like, when you... Like, for those of you that know about, the new Jack City movie, when G Money picked up the crack pipe in front of the fish tank, what gets you to that moment where you're like, I know what this is going to do?
Stress, maybe?
My life is fucked up at this point, and fuck it, I'm going to do it. I mean, like...
I remember the first time I smoked a cigarette. It was back when I was living with Tiff. It was our first time together, and she was having some kind of nervous fucking breakdown because she was away from her home. We were living together. And her friend was there, and we were drinking, and she was having some kind of episode, and this girl, Diane, was like, here, have this cigarette thing. I'm like, okay. And I did it. And everything was history after that. Like, that one time. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the whole addictive personality thing probably didn't help matters.
Yeah.
But, young, impressionable, whatever, fine. That was that. Now, I could have stopped. I've tried to stop. But I'm like...
So, the very first time... See, my first time with cigarettes was like a sickening experience. It was like, I got lightheaded. I didn't know how to smoke it. So I got lightheaded and...
Oh, yes. Please understand. Same here. I was fucked up. I'm like,
I didn't have a good experience with my first couple cigarettes. Yeah.
Nobody does. But it's kind of... It's a shitty feeling, but it's also like... It's a good
something
feeling.
Different.
Like, it's not... Once again, I don't think it's that far off than chasing the dragon of these other drugs.
So, curiosity.
Yeah.
Recreation.
Yeah. Stress,
some type of tragic event. Same thing with the homelessness thing. I mean, like, it's still it's a mind state, but addiction is like a mind state that controls you. Like,
Yeah, and it's always wild because you get people that can break out of the cycle by themselves, or they have help, and which obviously... You're struggling, please seek help. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like, shit happens.
But yeah, if you could get that interview, those are my two main questions for an addict. Is what was the straw that broke the camel's back that you picked up, and
how'd you stop? I mean, I'm not going to be doing like a current addict because I don't think they're really going to be like cognizant enough to be doing
really
this.
Still, like, are you chasing the Alibaba? I mean, are you really chasing the dragon, like you said, or the Alibaba? Like,
that's sad. Like, you have the two different sides. You have the human compassionate part where you feel bad. You're like, God damn, man, like what happened to you? Like, you don't even have to know the person, but you just kind of manifest this story of like, God, where did it go off the rails for you? But then there's this other part where it's like, get your fucking life together, man.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's almost like that tough love, but then you have that compassion part, and if you never lived it,
well, I mean, I guess you could feel their pain, so you feel the sorrow for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you feel the disappointment in
why
did you allow this to consume you like this? Like,
because you evolve, man. You're no longer. I mean, I'm not saying you're no longer a human, but you're less of a person. Sorry, but you are because you've taken. Well, because you smoked yourself retarded. Like, it's a silly joke, but it's not really a joke. Like, you are less of a person than you were before you started. Because it eats away your brain. It eats away you. You become this,
remember when I was told you about those people that my age that are crackheads, it's like you like you said, you become less of a person. You instantly lose the respect the little bit of respect you gained. Like, because now people are calling you crackhead. Now people are telling you to go do this special favor. Go take me here. Steal this. Like, you have become less of a person. Like, instantly. Like, I've seen some of the. There was one guy named Keith that was like, he was a big football player, and he was well known and he was well respected. Once he started chasing the crack monster. I mean,
the crack monster.
I mean, he was still big, and he became almost like Debo because he was robbing people. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a dealer on the street and he wasn't, if you didn't put the fear of God in him, or you didn't show him your strap or let him know, I will put some hot ones in you, then he would definitely rob you. Like, if he would ask you for a 10-piece or a 20-piece and take your whole stash, and he'll look at you like, what you gonna do? And you like, I gotta either shoot you or just take the beat. And most people just took the beat. They was like, I ain't gonna kill you over it. But but he instantly lost respect. Before that, he walked around in the hood, and everyone looked to him almost like a hero figure. Soon as he picked up that thing, he became less of a person. I mean, he really did. Because he was chasing this drug.
What's his deal now? Do you know?
I think he might have passed by now. I think he's probably gone. Yeah. I don't think he's around anymore. But I mean, it once you take on whatever that harsh drug is, you do lose respect points.
I mean, before we do the interview part, why do you think some people can overcome it?
I think their tolerance for the bullshit that they put themselves and everyone around them, it finally gets to them. It says that I'm not going to let this happen again. And they somehow, whatever gumption or whatever you want to call it, whatever resistance that they was putting up to it before kept getting overpowered. And then I guess they got to a breaking point where they was like, I'm not going to let this overpower me. And it's still a struggle. It's an everyday struggle because, trust me, I've been in those AA classes where, because I had DUIs, they make you go to these AA classes, and you're in there for alcohol, but they're in there for, all types of stuff. And like their mantra or they read, man, I can't even remember. It's like the AA, like their slogan.
I know
or
what you're
something
talking about. Yeah.
That what is it called?
I don't remember.
But
it's that's not
sobriety
funny.
Something. Sobriety prayer or something like that.
It's not funny, but for whatever reason, when you said that, I just thought of like in the scene in Half Baked where Bob Saget gets up, like, you ever suck dick?
Exactly. Yeah. I was in those classes, man, and it's like, I had to get up and, say my spiel. And it was like, hey, my name is Jermaine. Hi, Jermaine. The whole crowd. I mean, I went through that shit for real. Like, and it's definitely a day by day. Like, the true recovering addicts that are recovering from the harsh drugs, they can't live days and weeks ahead. They really got to take it
do it day
by day. That's the key for them.
Because in props to the folks that can do it, but it's also like I can't pity you because it's like you did this to yourself, and it sucks to say it that way, but it's also like, I mean, dude, I didn't light the fucking pipe for you, dude. Like, kind of, but it's that kind of yin and yang about.
I mean, of those harsh drugs, one drug I don't know hardly anything about is crystal meth. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know
Breaking
any.
Bad, man.
Huh?
Watch Breaking Bad, you'll figure it out.
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't even know what that even what kind of high is that?
You're
are they chasing
tweaker.
The first high?
You're a fucking tweaker.
Okay.
Like, you're. All right. Do you ever Okay, you've watched South Park, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Tweak, or is his name's Tweak? That's not Craig.
No, but is it this whole chase the dragon thing too?
I think anything hardcore like that, you're chasing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's like.
But I just know that drug right there. I remember they showed some before and after pictures. That thing will put like 40 years on you in 10.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've seen a picture of the before and after. 20, 25 years look like they aged.
You think we're ugly? Shit. Yeah. And I think at a certain point you get so down in it, it's either like, fuck it. What do? But this is all kind of speculation and just kind of like looking at the situation afar, and it's real easy to judge and try to decipher that stuff. You're not in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many fucking things that could be contributing. Like, you think about baggage, past abuse, sexual abuse, mental, physical, like there are so many things that you could be carrying along with you.
And so many, but I mean, the drug can be taken in places that they
don't hurt there.
Yeah, like no human can take you there, or no other experience can take you there. I mean, you've seen in Ray and when some of those heroin addicts, the one guy, he was like, as he was shooting up, he said, "This is better than sex." Yeah. And he was like, "Man, there ain't nothing better than sex." He was like, "Watch." And I guess the heroin high is better than sex. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be some type of feeling that they're getting that's just totally awesome,
Yeah. And I don't want to know what that is.
Yeah, me either.
Like,
you can keep your awesomeness.
And I think that's what differentiates. I mean, I hate to put us in a box here, but that's what differentiates us from them. We don't desire. We're not curious in the sense where we want to know what it is. We're curious of, like,
how did you let this
more
happen?
Like, why are you doing that? Not really like, what are you
gaining? Like, let me see what you're doing. Like, I'm not inquisitive to the point where it's like, I want some of what you're doing. I'm just like, what is this about, and why did you let it consume you?
You can't ask a crackhead, how's crack? Fucking great.
I'm telling you, when I interviewed the dude, I was trying to get that answer, and it was just like, he gave me some, but then he started, you could tell he was getting offended, because it was like, he started realizing, like, his own dumbness as he was answering the question, and he got a little offended, and he got mad, like, "Man, stop answering me these questions," and he walked away, and it was just like, it was almost like he had a realization moment that this is some dumb shit. Why am I doing it?
Right. And then it was like, ooh, some crack.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Tyrone Biggums.
Biggums. Yeah. When he was in the when he was in the Fear Factor, and he was like, crack. That's all he could think of. Crack.
Oh shit, man.
But I mean,
that's our token Chappelle show reference. So we got our weekly Ezel and our weekly Chappelle.
Yeah, but
it's sad, man. And I mean, there's no way for sober people to answer that question. Yeah. I mean, we can speculate. This is why I would think that you would get to that point, but
and on top of that, you can't even like we say it's dumb, but it has nothing to do with intelligence because like these drugs have consumed some of the most brilliant minds in history of man, and they got to them.
Well,
so
shit, back in the day, they used to use the drugs
to like do it.
I mean, you think about music in the '60s, right?
Yeah,
it would unlock their potential. Now, is that really true? Fucking maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But all of like the Zeppelin and those bands that were like really into psychedelics,
like
Floyd, and that like open
Cypress
up their
Hill.
Spiritual man. It's like okay, I don't know. I mean, and I think back in the day they used like some of these drugs to cure stuff. Like it's super weird. Now, obviously, it's completely laced with everything under the sun.
Yeah. Man and got their hand on it.
So just like how bad words
were
then evolved into very naughty words that were just words before, these plants, drugs, concoctions became a money grab.
Yeah.
America.
But
gross.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel dirty and shitty about life now.
I mean, we tackled,
It's a shitty thing, man. It feels bad.
It's like
my mom died of drugs, man.
I know.
Died of AIDS. She really liked heroin. She died of AIDS.
It's like one of those things where you talk about it, you point out all the things that it encompasses and things that it deals with it, and then here we are in the guilt phase, almost like as if, like, did we offend anybody, or I mean, do we feel bad about what we just said or talked about? It's just like because all of us at least know someone that has abused drugs.
Yes.
I mean, all of us either have a family member or several family members or friends. True.
Maybe this is something you need to hear. Like, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
I don't care if I offend you. If I offend you, tough shit. Sometimes life's hard. Get a helmet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your response to him is don't be in a position to let me offend you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hate to use an analogy. When Cam Newton was in his MVP year and he used to get in the end zone and do all these dances and do the dab and all of that stuff. Yeah. And the media asked him, it was like, don't you think it's disrespectful to get into the end zone and to dance and do all of this? And don't you think you get other players mad?
Sure
and
do.
His response was, if you don't like what I do when I get in the end zone, and he paused and said, don't let me in. And that was the simple question. Like, yeah. I mean, that was the simple answer. Like, don't let me in the end zone. If you don't want to see all the dances I'm going to do when I get in that end zone, don't let me in there. So if you don't want to hear all the negativity and you don't want to hear all the bad things that come with being a harsh addict,
right?
Don't put yourself in a position that you're going to get offended by what I'm saying.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, and I look at it like this here, too. I mean, maybe there is somebody out there listening that, they've heard from different people. They've heard different things. I mean, I'm not saying by any stretch we're drug gurus or anything, but maybe we could help somebody. Because I told you from the gate, we have more to offer than, like, dick jokes and cussing. Like, I think a lot of the times with our type of perspective and how we operate, and how we have such an organic, beautiful relationship,
yeah,
I think that in between us, we have about a quarter of a brain. So I feel like we can offer help to some people.
We're like an onion. I mean, of course we might come and we look like, to the outside we got all this laugh and joke and goofy stuff. But if you peel back the layers to an onion, we do have some valid points. We got some, we got some valid things that may touch you. I mean, it may be the words or the kick in the ass that you need to get. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need a teacher that, with a ruler that's saying, don't do this. But if you listening to a couple goofballs that were started out on the couch and they're like, man, these guys are pretty funny, And if we're telling you something that can help you, I mean, you may needed to hear that from the two goofy guys on the couch.
And we've both seen some shit. Like, between us, we got, 90 years on this earth?
Yeah.
We've seen some shit.
Yeah.
All my family's dead. Jermaine killed all his.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but
put it to you as real as possible. I mean, if you don't like the way it tastes or sound, I'm sorry.
Then don't do your business then. I'll tell you. Sorry.
Sorry.
But, all right. Well, now that I'm fucking sad, let's go do some drugs.
Yep. He said, let's go do some drugs.
Yeah, so let's get this draft going here.
Okay.
Okay, it's draft time. What are we doing?
Well, pretty much, I just started this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and we're going to, and I told you before, we're going to have the same answers for some of these, but you said that's not typically a real draft.
Look, I've been consulting with the judges, and I don't know.
No. And my thing is similar as certain teams draft the same thing in the first rounds. First 5 picks could be 3 quarterbacks. So as long as we're not drafting the exact same thing. So
all right,
top 4 for 4 of the proudest moments in your life. And some of mine aren't even relevant today, but at that time, they were... At that time, they were a moment I was really proud. Proud of myself, proud of my accomplishment, or proud of something that happened. So I'm going to go in sequential order.
Okay.
So basically...
are we doing sequential like that happened in your life, or what you're the most proud of then to the least?
The order is based on what happened in my life.
Okay,
so
all right.
The time frame in my life. So my first proud moment was getting my license. I mean... When you're a kid and you're 16 and you finally you knock down that permit test or whatever, and you finally go to the DMV and you pass the test and you do the parallel park between the 2 cones, and you're proud. I mean, you get that license and you see it and you look at the picture and it says your name on it. It's a very proud moment. Now, it has no relevance today because I don't have a license. It's suspended. But at that point, I was damn proud.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to go with starting this podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I just think that pulling the trigger on something that I thought I'd be good at, and oopsie daisy on that one, I thought it showed some balls, man. Like, just kind of putting yourself out there into the ether and just jumping in feet first. And I don't think a lot of people really have the fortitude to do that and then continue with it, this far into the game. I mean, we're 3 months in?
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem like a lot, but...
Still, I give you all the props in the world because, remember, we talked about it was... If we talked about it as far as we should do it, and you said it's just an idea if you talk about it, but when you put it into action, it becomes a plan, and you turned it into a plan.
Yeah, we have worked hard on it, and it has evolved, and we have grown mightily. I mean, we it started off as kind of just like a silly little let's see how it goes. Because that's literally the name of the first episode. Let's see how this goes.
and re-listening to that first episode, we sounded so shitty compared to now. And it's like, it's only been 3 months. We were like complete veterans of the game. But
which, I mean, and it's awesome because, we're able to see that growth and we can just keep getting better. I think the important thing is never getting complacent in this kind of arena.
Yes, and thank you, Tiffany, for the acoustic equipment
that
we gathered along the way as well. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of Tiffany, she's part of the draft today, too.
2 drafts in a row.
2 drafts in a row. She is...
Elizabeth, this is the big one. For those of you that used to watch Sanford and Son, those of you even know about it.
Yeah, right. You age yourself, but also a real good show. So, what's up? You gonna? And also, good old Bob the Builder here. He made a point to me to tell you, elaborate on your picks. Stop just saying a word and keeping it moving. I don't care about your ideas. Oh, it's your show. Shut the fuck up. You're a part of the draft. Let's go. Explain your pick, woman.
Okay, so my first pick is going to be getting into nursing school. Because it's not just, I'm going to go major in nursing. You have to take a test. You have to get recommendations. You have to write a letter. And then you have to go sit in front of the nursing school board and get interviewed before you even get in. So you can do all your prereqs and then not even get in.
And not get selected?
And not get selected.
So you have to, like, almost impress the panel to get into school.
Correct. And pass the TEAS test. Anyone who's taken the TEAS test knows that that's a terrible test. So that I'm going to pick that as my first one.
All right.
A little sidebar here, too. So she had to reach over to speak into the mic, and as she did it, I farted, and it was real gross. You're welcome. This is who you married. I apologize for nothing.
Like, my mouth was open.
That dead tooth. All right, go ahead.
Pick two. Like I said, in sequential order. So, 16, got the license. So, graduated high school. I'm proud, but not proud because,
The puppy has a little ice cream cup, and he is losing his proverbial shit. So that's our other third token thing. Our puppy. Yeah, good.
So I had my daughter while I was in college. So the birth of my children, I'm going to lump them together because I'm not going to separate each one and say this was one pick and this is the other pick. The birth of my daughter and my son is two of the proudest moments of my life. I hate to be biased, but my son is a little bit more of a prouder moment because not prouder, but it's just the second is like you could prepare for it a little bit more. Like both of my children were not they weren't planned, quote unquote planned, But my son, it was almost like we had already a test run with my daughter. Like when you're first becoming parents with your first child, it's like a eye-opening experience.
Right.
Whereas my son is like, okay, we already been down this route. We know where we're going. And as a man, you always want a son.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit more, a little bit more prouder moment. But the birth of my children, two of the proudest moments of my life.
How happily sappy. Also, enjoy your now strained relationship with your daughter now that she knows that you're not good.
No hard feelings.
Yeah, no. Definitely know who's putting you in the home and who's not.
No.
All right.
No, it's just one of the things. I don't know if you ever seen the commercial. It was like a commercial where the one lady where she had her first child and everybody had to wear hand sanitizer. Don't touch my baby.
Yeah.
She's handing them to the mechanic. So
Yeah.
He's just more prepared your second go around.
No, fair enough, man. I dig it. This might make it awkward. I think one of the coolest moments I've had.
You letting him go over.
Woo-wee. That could be a proud one.
McDonald's.
Yeah. Shout out. Not a sponsor. Stealing a married man's wife.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's just some gangster shit.
Oh man, you don't even have to elaborate if you want.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Don't need to. I'm just gonna let that person go ahead.
Alrighty.
Everyone knows it's you. Shut the fuck up. What's good, Tiff?
How do I follow that up?
Okay. My second draft pick is going to be when I won my Daisy Award.
Oh shit! Yeah.
For being
Explain
a
to people
nurse,
what that is.
for being a nurse leader. So basically, a Daisy Award is like this prestigious award that you can get for being a nurse. So there's different tiers to it. So you can get one for being a floor nurse, and that's from a patient. They nominate you. The one I got, I was nominated by almost my entire staff. So as a nurse leader, so it was my first nurse leader job as a unit manager. And they basically nominated me for this award that like 2% of nurses get in the world. So
Awesome.
I could be wrong on 2%. It could be 5%, but it's very, very small
Single
number.
digits.
It's a very small number, and I was really proud to get one.
Congratulations.
And that's the bitch I stole.
Yep. All right. All right. Sequential order. Sequential order. So, okay. Got my license.
Yep.
Had my birth of my daughter in college. Y'all know how I feel about secondary education. But my third proudest moment, it was a very proud moment when I graduated college. I mean, because there's so much promise when you get a degree.
Yeah.
You think you're ready for the workforce, you're ready for the world, you're going to go out and you're going to make all this money. Not happening. And all I'm stuck here with is a student loan payment, but I was at that moment I was extremely proud. I'm like, man, and just from a black family in the ghetto standpoint, there aren't too many men that are black men graduating college at this time in 2001. So, very proud moment. Very proud moment.
How'd that work out for you?
Didn't do shit.
Yeah. College for the win.
Yeah. So go back to my other episode of secondary education is useless, but I was, green and my eyes were wide open and I was ready to take on the world. I was proud.
I mean, pretty simple, pretty boring pick, but I don't know. I don't put a lot of stock in many things, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go with getting my first job. I mean, just that level of independence, and all right, hey, this is my money, and
what is your very, very first job?
I worked at a Walgreens.
So you were proud of that Walgreens.
I actually worked at the Walgreens in Homestead, the one right by the Hayes Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my first gig.
And you were proud as hell.
Sure. No, I mean it was my first it's my first taste of independence.
Independence,
and, yeah. You had that responsibility, but yeah, I mean, as proud as one can be with the Walgreens job, I guess.
All right.
It's hard because I don't have a lot of picks because I don't give a shit about a lot of things. And I don't mean that in a negative fashion. If I'm proud of something, I'm putting it on a pedestal. And just kind of how I deal with friends. I do not have many friends because I generally don't like most people I deal with because a lot of them just rub me the wrong way. And that may be a me thing, it may be a them thing.
No.
I don't know.
It's a lot of people, they're your friend until they show you their ass.
Yeah.
And then they don't become your friend, or you put them in a box somewhere and then you move on to the next person. So people show their ass to you, so it's not just a you thing. And
it sounds very pretentious and douchey, but you need to earn my respect for me to give you the time of day. And I'm not holier than thou or anything like that. I value my time. We've been over this on one of the episodes. I value my time
over money
so much over many things, money included. And if I'm going to spend my time on you, you need to prove to me that it's going to be worth me spending your time or my time. So, sorry, diatribe. Go ahead.
Well, you stole mine.
Suck a dick. That was rude.
So I'm going to default to when I bought my first brand new 0 miles on it car.
Okay.
Because I was poor as a kid, and we didn't even have a car. We walked everywhere. So being able to buy a brand new car is a proud moment.
Not used. Yeah, because that makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Which one was that? Was that the Grand Prix?
Nope, that was used. Yeah. My very first brand new car was a Toyota Corolla that I quickly traded in after a year for my Camry with the heated seats and luxury package.
All right, bitch, don't have to flex there.
No, I mean, and the car being new is a big thing because I was always a believer in buy something junky, run it into the ground, and buy another one. And I didn't get my first brand new car until 2016. As far as my whole life I went through buying used cars.
Is that Cherokee or?
That's the Jeep I have now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that Cherokee or?
No, that's a Patriot.
Okay. That's the same fucking thing.
And then my last pick in sequential order, the job that me and you met at, Rich.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were gonna. Yeah.
Being promoted to supervisor. That was my first taste of
big
management.
Job?
Yeah. I mean, I'm graduating into management. I'm no longer, a frontline employee, and it's taking on, the management world. And, I interviewed for this job plenty of times, and I got turned down plenty of times, and then I finally got the job, and it was a very proud moment. I even, before the interviews, I would, even say prayers like, Lord, please let me get this job. And,
hey, people do that, man. There's no shame in that at all.
But just like the license, and just like some of the other stuff I no longer have, or I don't care about the secondary education, I no longer worked at this job. So, but I'm still in management. So that was still the opening the door.
Exactly. I think if it wasn't for that, you may not be in that position now.
True.
So,
True.
That's nice, man.
That was definitely a proud moment. A great moments in hookup history.
Hey. Damn, we need to get like a Chappelle show.
We gotta have Chappelle clips on speed dial.
There's probably a copyright on that. I can't. Yeah, and I don't even know why I didn't think of this. This is actually real simple. Get my sleeve done.
Oh, for real? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when you started like getting just a little bit, like you had a little over here, a little there, and then it accumulated all over time.
Yeah. So I love tattoos. I love getting it. I love getting them. I love
just not on your face.
No, I'm not. No, that's that was the first episode of BDE, wasn't it? Yeah. It's weird now that we're actually able to remember in our library when we talked about certain things. It's crazy. Yeah, I love tattoos. Love getting tattoos. Sounds weird. I love the pain of getting tattoos. It just makes it worth it.
Like pain.
Yeah, tattoo people are weird. It's like a all-encompassing weird like experience. But yeah, I thought I was pretty stoked about being able to pay for it all on my own and just getting done. Now, a little sidebar here. I didn't choose anything I got done on me. My tattoo artist did.
She gave all the suggestions, everything.
Yeah. Okay. I told her here's your theme because I had the top part of my sleeve done already, and it was already kind of some kind of weird jungle-esque theme. And I told her, hey, go ham sandwich, go ahead, do what you do, and she appreciated it and she did good work. But yeah, it's a weird thing to be proud of, but yeah, that'll round out my draft, I think.
Okay.
All right, Mama Bear, what's good here? What do you got?
Okay. It was hard to pick this one. But I think from my last moment that I'll choose for this, man, there's two that I'm so proud of. But I'm going to go with my first instinct and say the first time that that I made an impact in a patient because I still remember it. I still have the cross that they gave me when they discharged. I won't go in a lot of detail so no one can kind of guess what it was, but it was my very first nursing job, and I just remember that the residents, don't go to the hospital in July, the residents were giving her an antibiotic incorrectly. It was too much, so it was destroying her kidneys, and that was the first time that I was confident enough in my skills as a nurse to advocate for the patient and say, hey, you're doing this wrong, and they actually listened and fixed it. But also the first time I had a connection with a patient and their family, and just the intimacy of what was wrong with them and the wound care, and just watching her go from so deep down in her depression to just like coming back, that I think that's probably one of my most proudest. Most of them are surrounding nursing because I'm very proud to be a nurse, but I think that's going to be round out my proudest moment.
Turning frowns upside down. So you said don't go to hospital in July? Is that a thing?
That's when the new residents, brand new green residents start.
Oh, I am not. I'm gonna get shot in the month of July, and I'm gonna be like, I'll be all right.
What was your other one? Since we're gonna do like an honorable mention.
Yeah.
What was your other one?
Okay, so again, nursing. So honorable mention is gonna be the first time that. So I'm a weird human. In that the first time that I got to just bathe someone and hold their hand and keep them calm and be with them when they passed away and make that experience just a calming experience.
Someone's hand as they passed.
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah, you told me that's kind of something that you would actually seek out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yes, because it's a privilege that nurses have, or anyone really has, to make somebody's last experience in this world comforting. So I'm very proud of that. But again, I'm very proud to be in the job that I am in, even though now I'm in administration. I'm still a nurse.
Can I make a comment? Both of y'all are fucked up for not mentioning y'all child.
So I will advocate for the children and say fuck them kids.
That's why I began to drive and say we're going to have the same pick, because I thought we all was going to say our children, but these two don't care about their child.
No, we don't.
Oh man, do I have an honorable mention? My honorable mention would be the podcast. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good proud moment. We're here now. I talked about it could be therapeutic as well.
Yeah.
So just having these conversations and just having our little post games and stuff like that, it's been very helpful.
Yeah, I forgot we got to do that still. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's going to wrap up the show here, to be honest with you. I mean, we're at about what? I don't have an honorable mention. I barely had fucking 4. Yeah. I mean, look, it's like I said, it's not like it's not a character flaw. It's just I don't.
Well, you don't get too high or you don't get too low.
Yeah, like the word, like if I'm proud of something, yeah, I'm obviously proud of the kids that have the kids and all that, but it just seems it's.
He said it's a given.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of low hanging fruit, and I don't know, like it just that seems like you should be,
So you don't have to talk about it. So basically, I could have used another pick, huh?
Yeah, basically you're just bad at this. So yeah, you proved it again. Good fucking job. No, like and that's the thing. That's the cool thing about these drafts, because I wasn't really on board with. Hey, look, I don't know, man. I'm not really digging the idea here. I don't know if I really have too many things, and I didn't. But within the process, I was able to think about it. I was like, all right, what do you actually like? Maybe take out the word like. What are you proud of? What do you care? Like, what are these important moments in your life that happen that you're like, yeah, man, fuck yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I approach. Now, obviously, look, my picks are dog shit compared to these two fuckers. Sorry, biased and everything, but Tiff wins. I just her big clip.
No, but I mean, a lot of people go with first house or first car or stuff like that. And
she's like, I hold people when they die. Okay, I won this 2% Nurse Daisy Award because okay.
You don't have any fear of. I ain't gonna say do you believe in ghosts, but you don't have any fear of holding that person's hand as you're stuck with them or they're gonna haunt you or anything like that.
Well, wouldn't you you think about it though. I mean, if that's,
I wouldn't be.
I don't know how. I don't know how they would. That would almost be almost like a guardian angel kind of situation.
Because you're the last. Yeah.
You're like. If
anybody should get treated well, it should be you. Yeah.
Like, you sought me out, and you held me. Like, I can't, like, it's hard for me, because I want to fucking cry, like, hearing that, because it's one of those, it's not sad, it's just such a beautiful thing.
Community champion.
I wish, and look, she's sitting here, I'm not saying this because she's sitting here, because that is not how we operate. I don't give a shit about her feelings. There should be more general people in the world like her and more nurses like her because she is actually one of the real genuine good people. And like how, because I've asked, like, how can you sit there and do that? Like, but I understand, somehow I understand because I understand you. Because you just have such a stupidly large heart that you want to be that person for that person. And it's not because you have something to gain from it. It's just...
I'm not going to say I'm a coward, but if that moment happened and I was there and there's no way out of it. I'm sorry, I'm harsh. There's no way out of it, then I would have to, hold their hand. But if I could somehow, they'd be like, hey, he's getting ready to pass. I'm going to be like, hey, man, I want to be removed from the situation.
And I don't think anybody can say anything bad about you for that, man.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of, someone getting ready to pass. I'm just...
Got something to add, Mama?
No, I will say that's most people. I mean, there's even people in healthcare that are very uncomfortable with death. I think just as a society, we're uncomfortable with it. I just happen to not be one of those people. And there's plenty of people.
Do you know why?
I mean, I could, like you said, pat somebody up or somebody if they're not dying, but if they're getting ready to, I'm trying to get out of that. I'm sorry, or I can't be that doctor that comes out to the family and says such and such has passed. I can't.
Could you do that part?
Yeah, I've done that part. You have to do that part. Fuck. You can't. You have to tell them.
Individual to do that.
I don't know why I'm okay with doing it.
You're a heartless cunt.
You can hear more of that on Pillow Talk.
Unfortunately, no. It's just I know I say it to you, but just putting it out in the ether just I feel like gives it more validation. You were such a fucking impressive person. It's not even funny. But this is why you're impressive because you're sitting there. No, I'm not. That's what makes you impressive.
McDonald's into the ether.
Yeah.
He choking on his own fart. I think this is the first time we did a draft at the end. So
yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't really intentional. It just kind of worked out that way from the timing standpoint. But yeah.
That's how we gonna roll.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think this is a good new integration of the show. We got about an hour and hour and 15 minutes or no 25 minutes in. I think. Yeah.
You said about an hour.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. Whoops. So yeah. Look. Let's kind of wrap it up. So, the socials. They're all in the description. Sub to the Apple Podcast things. That's probably the easiest way to get it, and that in the YouTube as well. leave some comments and do the reviews too. Like, put the reviews on there because that helps the algorithm. It gets out to more and more people. So if you're enjoying it, other people will too.
Yeah.
The Patreon, we have the whole post game coming up right after this, and that's going to be uploaded up on the Patreon too. Like I said, they got the free trial of it, so jump on, support us. After that, if you dig what you're hearing, look, there was $5 on there. Not going to break you.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. Last time we got a topic from one of our listeners, and this time we did the same format, and we didn't get no comments this time. That's why we chose the addiction or the.
And it just worked out anyway because it just flowed in with the whole
new format, and stuff like that.
Well, not even that; it just flowed in with the whole homeless thing. It was just kind of almost like
an extension,
right? We almost kind of set it up for that. So
yeah. So yeah, put your comments in there. Give us some topics to talk about.
Bob did give us the draft idea too.
Okay.
And we're not going to do it yet because I want him on it, in on it. But it's something along the lines of $10 a week for a food budget.
A week?
Yeah, and I was like, "Are you eating once?" And I was like, "We may have to adjust how this goes." But
how you gonna get away with?
I feel like that's going to be an interesting little kind of how are we going to do this? Like, how are we going to price stuff out? So I'm probably going to talk to him a little bit about it.
If any of them ideas is good, I'm going to adopt them now. Yeah. I'm going to try to get by on $10 a week.
Oh, shit. That's funny. It's like, well, one person's already doing that draft. But, yeah, man, good show. I like it. We're going to go ahead and get out of here and start the post game. So, my name is Rich.
This is Jermaine.
You wanna jump in there, Homa? No?
No.
Okay. And this is the X's and O's of life.
From now on.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Yep.